The Penguin, in terms of villains, we're on to Penguin. To begin with, I'll start where he starts. Thrown into the sewer by his parents for being deformed and disfigured for some reason that's not explained at all. He gets thrown into the sewer by his parents. What lovely parents he has. Because he's disfigured and disformed, they hate him for some reason. You know, his mother gave birth to him, so, you know, what better way to show him love than to cast him into the sewer, where he should have died as a boy in the sewer, as a newborn in the sewer. He should have been, you know, killed straight away, but no, had to establish that he lives in the sewer. And the whole thing about his character is that he's not accepted, or that's what the film wants you to think. It wants you to think he's not accepted in society, but he does nothing in the film he does makes you question that. Christopher Walken wants him to says he could become mayor. What happens? He doesn't become mayor, then he decides to, well, kill everything. But there is a point in the film where he comes on TV and tells everyone, look, I just want you to all accept me for who I am, and, you know, I want to live in Gotham peacefully, which turns out to be a complete lie. So the one thing you're telling us about this character is completely there to create forced sympathy, and it doesn't work. He's not very likable because he lies. He lied about that. He doesn't want to be accepted. He just wants to, you know, blow everything up. And that is not... You can't throw that in unless you're going to develop it. It's not developed. That would have been a far better character for him if he's not accepted in society. Then he tries his hardest. He tries his hardest to get on with people, but no one accepts him. Then he thinks, well, no one accepts me. Why should I accept them? Why I'm just and then he goes off on one. He's not developed at all, and his one character trait is a lie. So those are I've ranted enough about the Penguin. So your turn, Chris. Your turn.
That's a lot for me to try and defend and come back on. Okay, right. Going back to the whole thing as a baby, I actually did like Tim Burton's reimagining of the Penguin in this film. I did like the fact that he made him this deformed child, and I think it was a very different and intriguing backstory than the one from the comics, where he's just this slightly misshapen crime boss. When you said that his parents got rid of him, in the comics the Cobblepot family were like a really rich family to rival the Waynes, and I think they didn't want this ugly son as part of their image. Okay. So that's why they get rid of him. Okay,
well then tell me that. I have not read a Batman comic in my life, so I don't know any backstory. So you need the filmmaker Tim Burton needs to tell me that is what is going on.
But yeah, then they throw him in the sewer, and again, I actually kind of like this thing. Yes, it's far-fetched, but it's a comic book film, and it's not in the same league as the new ones that are realistic. This is going from the comics, like, you know, over the top.
Silly.
Yeah, if you want. But I think it's implied that the Penguins raised him, because the last shot of that title sequence is where the basket washes up and the Penguins loom over it. So I think it's Penguins kind of raised him as one of those. But then that raises the question as, like, where did he get clothes from? How did he learn to speak English? You know, but whatever.
That was the sound of me hitting my head against my table. The Penguins raised him. How far-fetched is that? Penguins in the sewer. penguins
Well,
live in the sewer?
It was part of the abandoned zoo, though, wasn't it? It was in art. I never quite got that because it's established that the penguin's lair is in Arctic world in the middle of this abandoned zoo, which looks like the most satanic and evil zoo to ever take a little child to ever.
It's a Tim Burton zoo.
It's a Tim Burton zoo, yeah. And it's established that he lives in, this item from the zoo, but then he lives in the sewer. So does the sewer mix in with the place where he... I didn't get that at all.
Well, if the penguins could go into the sewer, surely they'd die as well from all the feces and all the excrement
Especially when he says that all the toxic waste from that Shrek's power station is washed up there as well. But that raises a whole different question. But one thing I think we have to bring up with the penguin as well is the whole circus feel and his circus troupe as well, because that's established as part of his backstory as well. So, because Batman reads an article on the computer that says that the penguin was part of this circus troupe, so did he leave the sewer to go with them and then go back with them?
Why didn't he just... If he did, why didn't he just stay with them and devise his evil plan there instead of going back to the Gotham sewer? Or why did he go back to Gotham in the first place?
Well, it's stated... It's really hastily done, like... It's over in a matter of seconds and you'd probably miss the line. Batman says something about that a lot of children disappeared, and when the circus troupe was being questioned, one had escaped, which was the penguin. So that raises a whole new line of disturbing thoughts when you think that the penguin is a child kidnapper or killer, and that comes up again at the end.
He's someone for Batman to fight. If you try and say he's sympathetic or he has a character, he starts to fall apart at the seams. Because he is only there to do one thing: fight Batman. That is all he's in the film to do.
And while we're on the topic of fighting Batman, there is I hate this about... This is one of my least favourite things about the entire Batman Returns film. The Penguin is trying to set up Batman and turn the citizens of Gotham against Batman. So he constructs this mini Batmobile, and which can remote control Batman's own Batmobile. And there's this about 5-minute sequence of the Penguin just acting like a complete idiot, and it's over the top and wacky and campy, and I just hate that part of the film. And as well at the end with his plan, with his army of penguins, with rockets strapped to their back to destroy Gotham. This stands to my reason that Tim Burton is a good visionary director, but he cannot direct action in a film. And with a Batman film, you really do need action.
You do, and the whole penguin strap bombs to the penguins. Like, it's his one character trait that he hangs about with penguins. He's lived with the penguins pretty much most of his life, and he's instantly, like, click of a finger, ready to blow them all up. Like, I just don't, like... I'd want some sort of emotion there, because, I mean, he's blowing up some friends. You know, why would he not say, oh, this... I'm sorry, but this will benefit the penguin race in the long run, or something stupid as that. Like, he's too ready to blow the penguins up. The penguins he's lived with most of his life. I really and that scene is A, very over the top and very silly, and B, is out of place in a Batman film. Yeah,
and this scene also revolves around a huge plot hole that I saw on repeat viewing, because the Penguin's original plan is to kidnap all the firstborn sons of Gotham, to bring them back to the sewer, to then, dump them into the water and watch them drown. And Batman foils this plan and sends a note back to the Penguin, and then straight away it cuts to the next scene. The Penguins devise this new plan with all the nuclear penguins to blow up Gotham. But Batman is already driving on the way, and Alfred has already set up his computers to like reroute the system of the Penguins. How did Batman know that the Penguin had now devised this second plan?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just the way to have, as you said, the final fight between Batman and Penguin. No thought into it. Let's just have an action climax where stuff blows up. Put it in the film.
But you know what? What would have been really good if his plan wasn't to drown the children, but to raise them, to raise them up, like to have them almost like sons of his, because he's not accepted or they try and say he's not accepted in Gotham. Why not have that developed and have him steal the children, so that when he's not accepted, he steals them, and then he thinks the only way to be accepted is to raise his own, to raise these firstborns, to raise them up, and to create like an underground sort of society of them. You know, that would have been far better than just drown it. Why does he feel the need to drown them? Like that in itself is Tim Burton going too far already. And
I think that was just trying to make it more darker, to be honest, than it really needed to be.
Yeah, that is needlessly dark. I mean, I'm so against child killing in a film if it's not in context. That was not in context. That had nothing to do with anything else going on in the film. It is far too... Tim Burton needs to get slapped for that. That is unacceptable to have that in a film that's not... that isn't in context of a character's motivations. Why did he not say, well, I've been abandoned, so why... Maybe he... The thing I'm trying to get at is maybe he should have done that with one child first instead of trying to kidnap them all. Done that with one kid, saying, well, I was abandoned, what if I take this one and bring him back to... and then raise him? What will happen then? Sort of having a thought process there, and you know, like I said, it's just a villain's plan.
I don't really know how I would feel, to be honest, to have like Batman fight a legion of kids at the end. That would have been equally, if not more, ridiculous than an army of rocket-propelled penguins.
It would have, but having said that, maybe it should have been set over a period of time, over a period of years, so that his plan, no one knows where these kids are going, and then they turn up. Or the old adult versions turn up in the sewers.
Oh, if this has been established from the start, say?
Yeah.
Start of the film. Right.
Yeah. And would have been part of his character. Would have been part of Penguin's character, and it would have made... It would have been better than simply trying to disgustingly drown them, like Tim Burton is some sycophant sort of... I'm sorry, Tim. That is unacceptably disgusting. It makes me hate the film even more to think that it could have that could have been developed more and put into context. But no, it's there because Tim Burton needed to make it darker. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tim. No, just no. You someone needs to slap him for that. I know it's about 20 years too late, but still, someone needs to.
Okay, so from that massive rant on Penguin, I think it's time to move on to our second villain of Batman Returns, which is Catwoman.